Questwise here, Palladium Books Open House 2018. We are here having a blast. We're talking with artists, we're talking with writers, we're talking with fans, putting it all together in this big interview series. Today we have Gleba with us, who's been with Palladium how long now?
Probably since about 2004.
Okay, right on. Wow, that's a lot longer than I thought. Nice, very nice. Yeah, if you haven't experienced any of Carl's stuff, amazing. If you're a fan, you've probably seen a lot of his stuff and you didn't even really know it probably, or maybe you are, maybe you're a super fan already. Carl, what are your, you've done a lot of stuff for Palladium.
Right.
What's your favorite product you've worked on?
My favorite product is always going to be my first book, Three Galaxies. That's just something that just came right out of me. And it's also for my passion for Phase World. And I guess it'd be like having your first child be your favorite child.
Sure, sure.
So definitely the Three Galaxies.
Okay, nice, very nice. So the other questions I've been asking everybody else too is how is the relationship with Palladium? Like, how do they come to you and say, hey, here's our idea, or do you pitch them an idea and then they just run with it, kind of thing?
Kevin is probably like one of the best people to work with in that respect. So I guess probably when you're an established freelancer like I am, I feel that Kevin has given me carte blanche to write pretty much anything I want. To me, the ground rules are, hey, Kevin, I have an idea. And I give him kind of an outline of an idea, kind of like the Minion War. Sure. I pitched the idea. I said, I want to do a 5-book series. I want to do it through hell. What do you think? He told me I was crazy. He says, and we're going to put some ground rules around a 5-book series, which he did. He says, we're not going to talk about it. You got a couple books in. Sure. It's a big endeavor. But to get to the original point of your question is, I usually pitch ideas to Kevin.
Okay, all right, nice.
And on occasion, sorry to interrupt you, I have occasionally been solicited. Say, Carl, we're working on a project. Do you want to pitch in? Rift China 2. They asked for my help on some stuff, so they'd send me some artwork. At one of the open houses when they were doing the Thundercloud Galaxy, they're like, hey, if you got any ideas, throw them in. And most recently, I was just having a casual conversation with Kevin in January for the open house. And yeah, I had some ideas for the bestiary. I said, did you include like a random monster generator? He goes, no. He goes, do you want to do it? And I'm like, yeah, I can try and write something up. So it's also a casual conversation.
Sure.
So.
Now, I'm a very visual person. The thing that struck me the most with Palladium when I first got involved, I was probably about 14 years old, was the artwork. And I've always been that kind of person where I can look at a piece of artwork and create entire adventures around those kind of things. What inspires you to write the things that you do?
Books or like game adventures?
Both. Let's start with books. What gives you an inspiration for a book?
The inspiration for the book really comes from my passion for like science fiction, fantasy. I've always been I love Star Wars, Star Trek, Farscape. So my original thought was I wanted to add more flavor to the Three Galaxies, and then my ideas just kind of started to bloom from there. Megaverse Builder was I like doing dimensional travel. Anything that I like becomes kind of like my passion for the gaming system to do and the story that I want to tell. So if I take that idea and I could say, can I make a book out of it? Can I get enough ideas down? And I've been fortunate enough that once the ideas start, they begin to flow, and it's been pretty successful so far. So I guess I'm a sci-fi geek. I guess that's where my ideas flow from. Yeah.
And how did you get started with like Palladium? Like, what was your first? Did you do a Rifter article, or was that part of your?
It was right in the beginning, right when they're starting to do the Rifters, and my goal was to submit a Rifter article. And I had about 6 months' notice that Palladium was going to be in Rochester, New York, which is about 2.5 hours from my hometown. And I get this stupid idea, like, well, you know what? They have manuscript proposals at the time. I'm going to try doing a manuscript submission to write to Kevin and Marianne. See if this is when he was married at the time. And I was a lot younger, a lot more overly ambitious than I am now. And I contacted Marianne at the time when she was the moderator of the message forums. I said, hey, can I hand you off a manuscript submission while you're in Rochester? She's like, sure, but there's no guarantee that we'll publish or anything. I said, hey, understood, totally cool. Yeah. And they were very gracious at that convention. They took it from me, and they contacted me about 6 months later saying, when can you finish it?
Nice, very nice. There's a lot of people out there, myself included, and this was one of those things where I've always had a passion for the game, and I've always wanted to sort of break into the thing. Palladium gives you that sort of opportunity, and through the Rifter, which is a quarterly subscription that you can get. It's sort of a source book / magazine wrapped into one package. Yes. But you can do through the website submission things, and they'll take a look at them, and if they're interested, they'll give you a shout back, and then have you refine some stuff and do some stuff, add some art to it, and make it a part of the product, which is a great thing, because I think there's a lot of people out there that I've met through YouTube that have, they have the interest and they have some great ideas. They just don't know where to get started with it, where to go for those kind of things. So the Rifter is a great opportunity for that
Absolutely.
kind of stuff to happen. Yeah, what you have any projects you're working on that you can talk about so far? Or?
Yeah, I mean, kind of in my pipeline, I've kind of put it on hold for a little while as I kind of focus on my career at work. But I have a half a manuscript that I'm working on. I'm calling it Secrets of the Alchemist.
Okay.
I kind of ran it by Kevin. He's like, hey, not a problem. You know, I'm pretty good at kind of delivering on what I told him I would deliver. So it's my first foray into Palladium fantasy.
Oh, nice, very nice, cool. I've always been a fantasy guy. That's kind of where I started. Although my first Palladium game ever was Heroes Unlimited and the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and other strangeness and stuff. That's kind of where I began. But I've always been a huge comic book fan, and so that was a big kind of starting point for me. But and I mentioned this in a couple other videos too. The great thing, and you guys can't see it behind the camera, but there's a whole wall of all the stuff that Palladium has produced before. If there's something you're interested in, whether it be fantasy or science fiction or horror or superheroes, Palladium does it, and it does it really, really well. And the great thing about their system is that because it all works on the same idea, you can blend a lot of those things together.
And I've actually adapted a lot of different elements from different books for things that I wanted to try. Like I wanted to try and do like a modern day setting, but you know these creatures are coming from these random locations, and the player characters have to hunt them down, or take other elements from other books and do like an XCOM type game.
Sure.
And I've been able to adapt numerous different Palladium settings and kind of make my own setting.
Yeah.
And just as some one-off games to try.
Nice, very nice. What would be one piece of advice for people who want to have sort of, besides the Rifter, like, what kind of piece of advice would you give to somebody who's sort of trying to break into the market? Like, as an established writer and freelancer and stuff, what would piece of advice you give?
Well, I'll establish that my experience is limited solely to Palladium. They're the only company that I'm actually published through, so I know Palladium fairly well. And the Rifter at this point is your best gateway in. Okay. Most writers are overly ambitious and they want to write something big, beautiful, and have like their name on it and out there. I tried that with the Minion War, and it was the most daunting task I ever did. Writing 5 books at between 250 and 300 page manuscripts. It's a bear to write. It took about 5 years to write. I'm really just starting small.
Sure.
Size, believe it or not, does not matter. It's the quality of your writing and, more importantly, the quality of your ideas.
Sure.
And I'll be blunt with people that, you know, Kevin says, I need to work a little bit more on my writing, the technical skill, but he loves my ideas. He says I usually have more ideas per page than some of the other people that have come in the past. So if you can keep the ideas flowing, you can keep the writing semi-clear, keep it a small little project, something even an adventure, a small little idea. If you want to do like a huge book, just do a small section, like an intro,
sure,
pieces of it, something that can be small and self-contained.
Yeah, very nice. Carl, thank you so much for being with us today. Appreciate all the stuff that you've done. If you haven't, like I said, if you haven't had a chance to check out Carl's work, please do so. I'm going to put a link down below to the Palladium web store where you can find all of his stuff as well too. Until next time, I'm Questwise, and we're out.